We have a brilliant professional amongst us today, in the midst of us, and that is Advocate Dr. Prashant Mali. And he's not a stranger to the BFSI or the technology domain fraternities at all. In fact, he's so sought after that he advises many corporates. He advises the police force, the Mumbai police, especially in cases related to critical cyber crimes and which need a lot of investigation and which a lot of sense of direction. So Prashant is a renowned international cyber law and cyber security expert and a practicing lawyer. He's also a public policy thought leader, a researcher, trusted advisor and a published author, and a TV personality as well. Holds a master's in computer science and master's in law with Ph.D. in cyber warfare and international cyber law. He's a Chevening Cybersecurity Fellow, UK, and an IVLP US participant for digital policy and cyber crimes. Prashant is also very well known for his futuristic views, out-of-the-box thought leadership and elocution. And apart from his law practice as a passion, he trains the international police. That's what I was telling you. Welcome, Prashantji. I was just referring to you. Prashant has a passion and he trains the international police, judges, bureaucrats, professors and corporate decision makers and debates on various TV channels and online forums. And he's radically innovative and published views on many key issues as well. His recommendation to the IT Act 2000 amendments and the Data Protection Act are also implemented in the new amendments, and he has many clients that include Fortune 500 companies. So without much ado, what I propose to do is to give Prashantji more time rather than me, taking my 30 seconds to fame is over. Prashantji, over to you.
Good morning, everybody. So, India is challenged with a new law, and that is the data privacy. That means we are trying to teach, or we want from Indians, a law in a system which we are not. Because privacy is not in our culture only. Our culture is open culture. मतलब अपना व्हाट इज आवर कल्चर, झांका झांकी, जहाँ तहाँ झांकते रहते हैं हम लोग. मतलब गोइंग इन समबडीज हाउस, उसको पूछने का तुम्हारा बीवी क्या करता है, पति क्या करता है, बच्चे क्या करते हैं. ये अपना प्राइवेसी का डेफिनेशन है. वी आवर डेफिनेशन इज नॉट लिमिटेड टू ओनली क्वेश्चंस. वी एंड अप इन वायलेटिंग प्राइवेसी बाय इवन स्निफिंग पीपल हाउसेस. तो घर में जाके ऐसे सूंघ के देखते हैं घर में खाना क्या पका है, वेज है कि नॉन वेज है. तो इतना तक आवर कल्चर इज ओपन. Or to this culture, we want to implement a law called DPDPA Act. I was handling a case in which one of the India's leading private bank. What has happened there? So this lady had come to me. She was under her divorce proceedings. Divorce proceedings chal raha tha. So her husband was a director in some company, big another financial company. So because divorce was happening, so what he did, he didn't want to give her alimony or any maintenance. So he sold all his assets and put it on his mother's and father's name, parents' name. Okay. So now, and he went to the court by saying, I am bankrupt. Okay, with the evidence of the bank statement and all. Now this lady was working in a bank, big bank. Okay. And in the same bank, they were having account. But she was not having access to his account. But she was knowing that on this floor of this bank, passwords are shared. In fact, there is only one password the whole floor uses. Can you imagine? One password used by whole floor. She goes, talks to somebody, gets that password, sits on one of the chairs, accesses the desktop over there, sees the bank statement of her husband, how the money has come, how she has sold her assets, takes a printout and presents it in the court in Noida, where the actual divorce proceeding was happening. So this easy to see a bank statement or what is happening in a bank or what is the amount you have in your account is this easy in our country. Forget this. Have you seen those loitering people in bank branches who come to you with some kind of investments all the time? They are not bank employees. Many a time they are agents. They also know what is your bank statement. They keep watching over the shoulder when your account is open. And that's how the data is sniffed. And they know your value and worth. So, sniffing banking data is another violation of your data protection, data privacy, which easily happens in our country. So in this country where banking data, HNI related data, I was handling a case where all HNI data was leaked of a big insurance company. And the fun was, this data was sold. And I got a client, and he was spastic, his problem with the leg. I was talking in some conference, he came to meet me at a conference in Hotel Leela. And the moment he met me, he says, sir, I am fully legal. Yet, this life insurance company has filed a case on me. So what have you done? I have purchased data of all HNI insurers of this company. And see, from the person I have purchased, I even have the sales tax receipt. I paid sales tax also. See his innocence. So in India, if you pay tax, that is white rishwat to government, people feel we are legal. Okay. So if this is the understanding of Indians about data, about your data, about others' data, just imagine implementing a law called Digital Personal Data Protection Act. I want to give another perspective. We have IT Act, everybody is aware, which is so-called cyber law of our country. It's not the only law which can be called cyber law of the country. But today it is 23 years the law has got enacted. Law is in action, right? IT Act 2000, active by 2001, today is 2024. 23 years. Yet in India, people are insanely unaware that taking your company's data when you leave the job is a crime. In India, people take it as it is their gratuity. Okay, marketing data, all kinds of data, pen drive में लेके जाते हैं. Pen drive में नहीं लेके गया, some more expert people will forward the data to their Gmail ID. Some more expert people will forward it to, even forward the source code of a program to some open source, जो होता है ना, जो free source code you get, they will paste it there. And then they can download it and then sell. And they claim that it was available for free. So in India, these things are still happening. It will keep happening. And the amount of data loss which organizations, specifically BFSI sector, because today I'm talking on BFSI, banking, finance and insurance sector has humongous amount of data. And humongous amount of data is lost, either from them or from their partners or from their call centers whom they hire, their contact centers, or the BPOs, whatever you implement. Data is leaked from various, and often I have seen the call center or contact centers is the actual point of leaking the data. Yesterday, I was handling a client. It's a stock market based broker, big broker. And somebody is taking their name and selling products, what they are selling. And over and above, also telling them, you have gone to this broker, don't go to him, he's very bad. We'll give you a better deal. And who are these guys? These are fraudsters. These are not other competitors also. These are just fraudsters who are taking money by offering the service 20-30% in reduced rate. And India, very greedy market. Oh, I think this is very harsh word. I could say very sensitive market. That's the right word we keep. Price sensitive market. So this greed helps a lot of cyber crimes and cybercrime gangs to perpetrate. And the huge amount of data loss happens because of this. We left and right give our data. We are not sensitive at all. See, privacy is not in our culture. Nobody taught us. Okay. When privacy is not in our culture, which is not exclusively taught in schools, in colleges, in your syllabus, how do you know what privacy is? The definition itself is missing. So privacy means right to be left alone. In India, is it possible? People don't leave you alone even in your bathrooms. They'll knock and keep talking to you. Okay, it even happens in corporate bathrooms. Just imagine. Peeping in somebody's phone is still not considered violation of privacy. We peep the phone, we take the phone in somebody's phones in our hand and guess the password, which is crime under section 43B, 43A, read with section 66. Punishment is up to 3 years and fine is up to 5 lakhs. Yet we do that. That is trying to access somebody's mobile phone, guess the password. So that's the issue. So BFSI, how do you start your preparation towards DPDPA Act? Number one is training of your employees. Training of your employees happens by building the culture of data privacy in your organization. And how do you do that? Obviously, training can't be one-day affair. It has to be series, and you have to imbibe culture of privacy and data protection on their minds. And how do you do that? You do it by various angles. You first do formal training, then do an online training, then you have screensavers related to privacy, then you have SMS related to privacy, then you talk about posters in their bathrooms, where in the common rooms, in the kitchen, in the dining area, in the greeting cards which you give them, in the HR activities which happens. So this is how you will develop a culture of privacy and data protection in your organization. What happened? No, it's okay. Yeah, I like, but it's okay. So when you develop this culture in your organization, why you should develop the culture? It's very important. Why? If you don't, then government is going to fine you up to 50 crores. The risk of data leak can start with 50 CR and can go heavily depending upon the repetition of crime. Because every instance the cost can increase. I'm giving you the base cost. When every instance the cost increases, just imagine not only the cost to be paid in crores of rupees, but imagine the brand name defamation you have across the media. Say, giving you an idea of Zomato, I don't take names, but in Zomato everybody knows, it repeatedly had data leaks, at least 3 which I know. So 3 बार अपना data Zomato ने leak कर दिया. अभी such companies would be charged, fined more by government of India. I also want to tell you as an individualist persons, all the fines which will be collected by government of India under the decision of Data Protection Board is not coming to the victim's pocket. मतलब जिसका data leak हो गया, he is not going to get money, she is not going to get money. It is going to the government's coffers. So what are you going to get? Just satisfaction. Somebody is fined because my data was leaked. In fact, you may have to pay 10,000 rupees because there is a duty assigned to you by the law. See, suppose you give wrong data to banking and insurance companies. Banking and insurance companies can file a case on you saying that this guy has given wrong data to me, and because of which we processed it wrong, and because of which the data about data went wrong. So many things can happen. So there is a duty that you are giving your data rightly. If you're not giving right data, then Data Protection Board also can put a fine on you. Now what BFSI should be ready? See, DPDPA Act brings in a lot of consent-related fatigue. What is it? That every single person, the person whose personal data you are handling, he now has right to see whether he has given you consent to use his data. First, so you should have a screen where you are showing him the consent was given. Second, you have to show him for what all reasons the consent was given. So he has given you reason, consent was given to you for X reason, and using it for Y reason, then he can still file a case on you for non-compliance of DPDP Act. Third, if you have to give him screen to withdraw the consent. I have given you the consent, now I want to withdraw. Why? Because your company standing is not good, your security practices are bad, I'm going to the competitor, I want to withdraw the consent. You should give him that screen. Obviously, there are some proviso. You don't do, it is non-compliance. So DPDP Act, it has brought in so many responsibilities about data, and the most affected industry would be BFSI, healthcare industry. So preparation, it's not only about the organization, it is also about the individuals who are working, participating in this organization, and they should be sensitized, they should be aware, they should know what is their role. You have to sensitize each and every person. So they should know what data I am putting on the board and how it can be leaked. I'm giving you one example. How was data leaked? So I was auditing one of the large telecom companies, and looking for the compliance. And in this telecom company, when I was taking a round of their infrastructure, I saw a marketing team writing their whole quarter projections. It's a listed company on a whiteboard in a conference room. Okay? And once the meeting is over, you're supposed to rub it, right? They have kept it like this. So the peon comes and rubs it, no, the office boy. Now when I was on a round, I saw that, I took a picture, and that amounted to non-compliance, because what is it? It gives rise to a insider information. You see the complications of the law. Insider info. See, a third-party vendor, housekeeping guy takes a photograph, gives it in the media, or now everybody has a social media. Even housekeeping guys have it. In fact, they are more active than you. Okay, if he puts it, he tags you, it will be considered as insider information, leaked in social media, and stocks can go up and down, and there could be losses. So you must see the amount of sensitivity we need to get in every single employee's head about the data which we are handling. So financial data is important. It is personal data. It is sensitive personal data. So this amount of awareness when we get in till we get into the minds of people, we cannot proceed towards data privacy compliance. Now, what is the biggest mistake what people will do? Now the BFSI have started doing. You want DPDPA compliance? Now you have new vendors, Taja vendors. What are they doing? We have India's first DPDP compliance software. So this is the buzzword now. And they'll come to you and say, see, our software does DPDP compliance. Okay. So what will you do? Because we are now vendor driven, we will take one more software to do our DPDPA compliance. And this DPDPA compliance will be tool based. Remember, your company's name is on radar. You are going to pay the fine. And how will the fine be paid? The fine could be paid because the person who is handling this DPDPA tool is a fool. So if you put a fool behind a tool, he is still a fool. So if you are putting fool behind a tool of a DPDP Act, he is still a fool and he is going to put you in problem. So holistic analysis of DPDP Act and holistic analysis of your privacy landscape in your organization with proper gap analysis is required. Right now, we have started doing gap analysis of various banks and various companies who are really serious about their data. And we find that they are non-compliant since last 6-7 years. Because they were non-compliant even to the IT Act. Oh, these are listed limited companies. And they were not aware. Okay, so start doing your gap assessments towards DPDPA Act. It could be training, gap assessments, fixing your policies, fixing your data protection policies, appointing consent managers, that's one requirement. If you have large data, appointing DPO, Indian Operation Specific DPO. Now this could be a right takeaway when you have to implement DPDPA Act in your organization. Just to give you one good news and one bad news is, you don't have any jail time for non-compliance of DPDPA Act. So normally CISOs and DPOs ask me, jail hoga kya? Police aayegi kya? So police is not coming under DPDPA Act, but police can come to you under IT Act 2000 because IT Act 2000 still has data theft options. It has still 43B, read with section 66, which has up to 3 years of imprisonment and 5 lakhs of penalty. Still, you can get responsible and still IPC and all are there. So depending upon the incident happening in your organization, depending upon your gross negligence, depending upon how the incident is handled, yet there is a risk of criminal action. But DPDPA purely is a civil law. It is not a criminal law. So that absolves you of many criminal risks, that stress-based risk. But it still can have a criminal part, depends upon the party who is taking action on you. A common man will not go in for criminal action, but a vengeance-full corporate can really go in for a criminal action against your company. So be careful about this law awareness in your organization, and implementation is the keyword. Training and culturally changing your organization is the keyword. Gap analysis, beginning with gap analysis is the keyword. And in long run, to make the organization culturally sensitive about data protection, India and globally, is the keyword. Thank you for listening to me. My time is over, and I'll have some time for questions if you have one. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you. Any questions? Yeah.
I'm Venkatraman. So this is basically a question on the DPDP Act. There is a catch actually, a catch-22 situation for BFSI, because we need to maintain data records for certain years. And when this consent problem comes and withdrawal problem comes, so how the fiduciary will act?
Okay, good question. Like banking needs to keep data for certain years. Exactly. Now, DPDPA Act has one section. DPDPA Act, there is only one overriding effect to this, is the local regulators, your statutory local regulators. So it will not be above what your statutory regulators are asking. And banking being your banking or IRDA or MFI, whatever your regulators, if they are asking you for this. So I told you when I said about proviso also, some proviso. So one is this. One is overriding effect of regulators. Second is, if there is a criminal case going on a matter, and he says you delete the data, you can't allow him to withdraw because court mandated till the last appeal is exhausted. So that could be 25 years, 30 years, and it can outlive the DPO also, or even the organization. Yeah.
Yeah. Saurav Datta. Just 2 comments. One was that the earlier Sri Krishna committee, when they were planning the draft bill, right? So there was a provision for the affected party to get some remuneration back. So this has been diluted. So that's number 1. Number 2 is for the consent. When you just sign up any of the consents, you just go blindly and say agree, right? So the consent is basically hidden somewhere in that legal terms that we have. there is no provision for consent withdrawal as of now.
Yeah. So no, there is a...
But it's not implemented anywhere.
It is not implemented anywhere. See, now what he emphasized was that in India, you have one form and 100 consents are taken in just one I agree. So the law says express consents have to be taken. You can't have consents which on the prima facie is with the intention to fraud. That will not happen. And so how will this develop? This will develop with various case laws. What was taken to blind the data principle, so that will develop in India. It is very well developed in EU with the GDPR, but in India it will develop with the cases which will coming with the data protection board. See, corporate should be happy because it is data protection board and not actual court. So, and who are going to sit on the board? It is all bureaucrats and ruling party members. So tomorrow if you are fined 500 crores, it can be settled because it is not a court. So this US-based litigation things can come in, more of arbitration kind of. So it depends upon a good lawyer which you engage and how the things has been taken when such kind of cases happen. But lastly, because you brought it this matter, you need to be more aware on the social media platforms, organization, because nowadays the data is leaked by hacker on Twitter first, and then the world comes to know. So when he's giving you signals, be aware. Until I'm handling cases where the data gets leaked on Twitter, and then there is a halla in the management, and then they come back to me, and I'm often negotiating with the hacker also. Okay, so when the hacker is available on Telegram, just imagine. He's negotiating on Telegram. He's not afraid. Okay, and with whose data he has compromised? Listed very big company, a very big insurance company, a very big AMC company, a very big stock company. So be aware. Your organizations in this DPDPA Act should be more aware about your data and its leakage and the pattern of leakage. So many things. So implement good policies. I think you are safe and secure. You can always, if you need me, if you type my name on Google, you'll get all my details. It's so simple. So I need not give you my contacts. It's prashantwali.com, has everything. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you again, Dave, for calling me here. Thank you. One question. Yes.
So, good morning. My name is Satish.
Dave.
So there is a school of thought around like this fine-grained consent is impractical. So for example, if you take X-rays that healthcare organizations maintain, etc. So there is a thought that, okay, now just take that data and sort of anonymize it by taking away the personally identifiable information, and let's say give it to an AI company. The AI company is, using it to train their AI model and things like that. So there is a thought that is actually going on. How, from a legal standpoint, how do you see this?
Incidentally, yesterday, I had this Undersecretary of US coming. We were discussing about this AI-based bias, AI-based data being given to US companies from Indian organization operating on Indian soil. So 2, 3 things, because you brought up the things, I'll just say and then close. One is, if you are anonymizing the data and giving, the moment you anonymize the data, the definition of personal data will vanish. It has no meaning to it. So that can be done. Okay. 2 is, I was talking about bias. Now, artificial intelligence bias is the big buzzword everybody is talking about, the bias and how it affects the privacy and all. My apprehension here is, See, bias doesn't happen only in one language called English. AI bias can change and happen in different Indian languages, and 20 at least languages in Schedule 2, what we are talking about, has to be considered. See, in DPDPA Act, you have to give privacy notices in 20 different languages. You can't do it in one language. Okay, so you need to have language specialists. So now when we are giving drafting privacy notices for different organizations, then we are giving them another service. Do you want it to be drafted in 20 other languages? Cost increases. Okay, so AI-based bias even in languages is possible. So AI-based bias on what is your algorithm to anonymize? Okay, or AI-based, privacy-based issue on the algorithm to anonymize can be an issue. So the guarantees and warranties about how this anonymized data cannot come back to the normal form, the risk, that declaration may be required when we go further. Okay, that's my, yeah. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you. Thank you, Dev.
I think, sir, 1 minute, sir, and we have you back on stage. I think this was one of the most fantastic way to kickstart or initiate the day's proceedings, especially with a pivotal, critical topic like BFSI, technology, innovation, processes, forensics, whatever. I mean, so it's an all-embracing concept. The law is above everything. So when we thought of having a keynote, we had this kind of content in mind. Thank you so much, sir, for having come up to the expectations of this conference in such a comprehensive manner. Dr. Datta is here. He is the chairman of our advisory committee, the conference advisory committee. So I request Dr. Datta to hand over a memento to Prashant, sir. Yes.